We bring in Paul Mauro, who's with us here, retired NYPD inspector, attorney, and Fox News contributor. You can watch his new show, The Weekly Rap Sheet, on Fox Nation. Paul, good to have you here. Just reading some of the extra details that we have here about what happened in court. There were no cameras there. He was brought in a tan jumpsuit. He was read the charges, and he said that he understood the charges, which is significant only in that we've been told that that he's a very isolated young man. Right. One of his relatives said, that he might be on the spectrum, something along those lines, that, according to some of these reports. But he said he understood it, and his family yelled out in support. Members of the family, we love you, Brian. We are here for you, baby. What stands out at this stage for you, Paul?
Well, I would say a couple of things. First of all, the charges are comparatively light compared to what I think we all expect coming here, which is some sort of ideological overlay that would take this potentially into the terrorism world. And that's one of the things that the family is already way out ahead of, saying he's not a terrorist, he's not a terrorist, he's not a terrorist. Secondly, as you said, he was coherent, he understood the charges, et cetera. Doesn't mean they're not going to go with some sort of an insanity defense, but this is a federal case. It's a very high bar there, so I don't think that they may explore it, but I don't think it's going to go that way. And then the other thing is the fact that reportedly 4 hours of interview. One of the things that people have to understand when you have a crime that's sort of ideological, it's not a question of getting a perp to talk. It's getting them to shut up, because they want to talk. They want to say why they did it, because this is how they talk to the world. The problem is keeping them on track, focusing them so that they'll answer you as opposed to giving you a whole litany of complaints and grievances, because you want to get the stuff that you can use in court. 4 hours, they likely got that. So it's going to be interesting to see off of those 4 hours if they come up with new charges. They haven't gone to indictment yet. We'll know more. He has to be indicted within 30 days unless they extend. So chances are you're going to see an indictment with some upgraded charges.
I'm struck by David Spunt's reporting about the reward that existed. I think he said $500,000. This case went on for 5 years. We know that the Biden administration had all the same information that this administration had. And it just makes me wonder if any of these family members had any inkling that that the person who did this was living with them. They found receipts, on him. According to this, he lived at home and he was a quiet guy, walked up and down the streets all the time. If any of them had any inkling that he was the guy, is there a broader case here?
I don't know. Family member on family member is tough, and juries tend not to like it unless you really have it cold. So that remains to be seen. They did the search warrant, and obviously it's the parents' house, so anything that could have implicated the parents would have been taken as well. All I can say is, people as parents can think about their own kids and say, I know everything that's going on, but we know these days that's not the case.
Sure, absolutely.
So I would be thinking in terms of, and they likely did this, once they ID'd him, it's a tense situation, but you leave him out there for a little bit. It's been 5 years. If he was going to do something, he would have done it already. See if he's talking to somebody else. Is he part of a group? You get up on the phone, you do the cyber stuff, and you see what's the network here. Is he involved with somebody else? I would have been looking myself, in light of the fact that he lives with the parents and it's bomb making, I would have been looking for a storage location. Right. I would have been saying, do his credit cards if he has, or follow him, see if he's going someplace where he's tinkering, that kind of thing, because we've seen that in the past.
Is he working on it off-site somewhere? This is reporter Ken Dilanian at MS Now, and he's talking about the fact that the same information was had by the prior FBI, and this FBI was able to break this case open finally. And listen to what he had to say about that, Paul.
There was clearly a failure because they had this information in their holdings for years. There was a data analysis failure, and boy, have we heard that story at the FBI before, Anna. The FBI is notorious for its difficulty dealing with information technology, dealing with large amounts of data. And what's the difference between now and 3 years ago? Artificial intelligence. I've been talking to my sources, former FBI officials who believe they applied AI tools to this huge data set of credit card records and cell phone records and license plate reader records.
I mean, ChatGPT has been around for quite a while. It's a few years at least. What do you make of that argument, Paul?
I don't buy it. From what I'm hearing, it was a fairly prosaic set of circumstances, fairly commonplace. It just took a lot of sweat equity. And when you consider that the Washington field office, where this case resides, was carrying the January 6th case and all of those cases that they had to bring, you have to say to yourself, it was likely a resource thing and a prioritization thing. And the idea that AI is the only reason, that the Kash Patel and Bongino FBI got there in less than 9 months after having to stand up a whole new FBI. I'm sorry, I'm not buying that. This is a pretty stark difference. Things like cell phone records, tracing down the components of the bomb. This is stuff the Bureau knows how to do. To me, it was a failure of leadership. I worked with too many good FBI investigators to think that they couldn't have solved it if it had been prioritized.
Well, that's exactly the word, prioritized. And whether or not, because clearly this technology existed a year ago, a year and a half ago, there's no doubt about that. And it doesn't take a genius in high technology to run some of these databases against each other and see if they intersect somewhere to point towards this young man. So priority is the question. I think you nailed it there. Paul, thank you very much. Great to see you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.